So the row over Savarkar and Tipu Sultan posters continues in Karnataka. Police interrogation of 4 accused in the Shivamogga district stabbing case has revealed the plot now. Prem Singh, who was attacked since they spotted him wearing a tilak. That is what we are learning on CNN News 18. The accused chased Prem Singh for 300 meters and then stabbed him. And looking at the blood oozing out of his body, they believe that he's dead and left and fled from the spot. This is the latest that we are actually learning when it comes to the plot to kill Prem Singh in this case. Remember, there was violence that really erupted in Karnataka Shivamogga, and the row was on the Savarkar poster that was actually put up. And now we are learning through police interrogation and sources that the 4 people who have been accused in hurting Prem Singh, attacking him, really did that on account of the fact that he was sporting a tilak. And the accused really had chased Prem Singh for about 300 meters before stabbing him, and they actually thought that he had died is when they fled from the spot. These are details that are emerging as the police interrogation is currently on. There are 4 people who are accused in attacking Prem Singh in this case. This is to do with the Shivamogga violence that erupted on Independence Day, remember. And all this because of a poster confrontation when it comes to Savarkar and Tipu Sultan. So supporters of both really clashed with one another, and the casualty here really became Prem Singh in this case, who was attacked brutally by 4 people who are accused in this matter. Harish, who's brought us all those developments, joins me on the phone line. Harish, we are getting all these details through the interrogation that's currently on the plot to kill Prem Singh.
Suspicion was that this possibly are a bunch of people, miscreants who wanted to create trouble, but the details emerging from this investigation making it very clear that it had a very strong communal undertone. These are 4 people who reached this Amir Ahmed circle, and they were carrying a knife. They wanted to stab someone, and that's when the police lathi charge begins, and the crowd is dispersed. They're once again forced to move away from there. They move towards the Gandhi Bazaar area, and that's when they say that they see Prem Singh wearing a tilak, walking after closing his shop, and they decide to stab him. They chase him for a good 300 meters. They stab him. They see the kind of blood loss that's happening, and they assume that he possibly will be dead and run away from that spot. These are details that have come from the interrogation of these 4 accused. It's a statement that has been recorded. It's their confession that they've given, saying that they targeted this man because they saw him wearing a tilak and walking back, and they wanted to stab someone, and they couldn't do that at the Amir Ahmed circle, and they finally saw Prem Singh alone, and that's why they stabbed him. So clearly, the intention out there that this wasn't just a random act of stabbing which happened in the confusion or anything as such. This was a very well-planned attack, and if not for Prem Singh, it could have been someone else at the Amir Ahmed circle.
Yeah, Prem Singh happens to be the casualty in this case, and all this because he was sporting a tilak. So they identified him is what we are breaking for our viewers. Something that Shivamogga has been notorious for. These communal tensions that have been reported out of Shivamogga in Karnataka is something that is not new. This happened on Independence Day when the clashes really erupted between the supporters of Savarkar and the supporters of Tipu Sultan. All this because of a poster that was put up at the circle there, and because of which there were clashes that really started, and one person was attacked, and he was the casualty in this particular case. He is badly injured. The accused left him to die over there. All right, Harish, stay on with me. We're getting more breaking news inputs when it comes to this particular story. Now, the Congress Karnataka leader, Siddaramaiah, has reacted to this entire controversy, which is to do with the Tipu Sultan Savarkar poster row. He has now accused the Bomai government of stoking fire in Shivamogga. He has said that why did they put up Savarkar's photograph in a Muslim area? That is the argument that Siddaramaiah is making. He also goes on to say, why did they not allow them to put the Tipu Sultan photograph?
Savarkar ಫೋಟೋ ಹಾಕಬೇಕು ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಾಕಬಹುದು ಮುಸಲ್ಮಾನರು ಏರಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ನಮ್ದು ತಕರಾರಿಲ್ಲ ಯಾವ ಫೋಟೋಗಳು ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಬಟ್ ಮುಸಲ್ಮಾನರು ಏರಿಯಾಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಆಯಿತು ಅವ್ರು ಹಾಕೋದು ಟಿಪ್ಪು ಸುಲ್ತಾನ್ ಫೋಟೋ ಯಾಕೆ ಬೇಡ ಅಂತಾರೆ ಸಾವರ್ಕರ್ ಫೋಟೋ ಫೋಟೋ ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕೆ ಮೊದಲು ಕಿತಾಪತಿ ಮಾಡೋರು ಇವರು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಈ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ನ ಆರೋಪ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಏನು ಸಂಬಂಧ.
My colleague Harish Upadhyay continues to be with me on the broadcast. Harish, is this that simple? Let everybody have his or her way and things would have been sorted. Was it that simple considering the kind of communal tensions that are being reported out of Shivamogga specifically in the state of Karnataka?
It wasn't. And remember, there's a bit of a background to this. Just 2 days prior to the Independence Day, we had a similar incident at a mall in Shivamogga where they objected to Savarkar's photo being put there and they wanted to replace it with Tipu Sultan's photo. The police intervened. They thankfully had enough number of personnel present at that mall and they could manage the situation and they arrested at least 4 people in that particular case. So you had communities objecting to photos being put up when Savarkar's photo was put up. A bunch of Muslim organizations objected to it. When Tipu's photo was put up, we've seen several people objecting to it. In Bangalore, we've seen that poster being removed by 4 Hindu group activists as well. So it's not as simple as what Mr. Siddaramaiah
the audio
says,
link, we will let you fix that and we'll come back to you. However, this is the latest that we are getting. Now there is a reaction from Siddaramaiah himself. He is actually accusing the Bomai-led government in Karnataka as to why the putting up of another Savarkar photograph really was allowed, and that too in an area that is dominated by the Muslims. This is what his argument is, and he goes on to say that if that really had happened, then they should have gone ahead and allowed a Tipu Sultan photograph to be put up as well to avoid any kind of communal tensions. Yes, Harish is back with me on the broadcast. Just go ahead with the point that you were making.
Well, essentially, it's not as simple as what Mr. Siddaramaiah says, that allow everyone to put up their posters. He also says, why allow Savarkar's photo in a Muslim area? It becomes a problematic situation in a country like India, where everyone takes offense for everything. Then you will have people saying you can't have someone's statue or a photo in our area. Then it becomes pointless to have law and order or any set of rules and regulations. That's the argument being made by several people. And he's now blaming the BJP, saying that you instigated this violence. You put up Savarkar's photo in a Muslim area. You did not allow them to put up Tipu Sultan's photo, and you instigated this protest. Now, one of the reasons why the local corporation did not want this to erupt further and why they decided to clear all these flexes is for the precise reason that it was getting out of hand. But should that become a norm? Should people start taking offense to everything that's being done? Then it opens up a Pandora's box. And that's why Mr. Siddaramaiah's statement might be problematic at several levels.
Harish, the fact that, Savarkar is back into the discourse, very close to the 15th of August when the country was celebrating 76th Indian independence. The fact that this really is happening once again from the state of Karnataka, which has become the hotbed of communal tensions. Do you think the government in the state, the Basavaraj Bomai government, could have done things differently when it comes to the law and order situation?
Well, Shivamogga, definitely yes, because as we mentioned, there was an incident in a mall in Shivamogga just before Independence Day. There was simmering tension. There was a large crowd gathering outside the police station over there. And when you have a program the very next day, the tendency of the cops is to ensure that there is a higher police presence to show the brute force so that nobody who perhaps was planning any sort of a incident or any sort of untoward incident doesn't go ahead with that. That did not happen in this case. You can see the videos. There are a handful of policemen, but they're clearly outnumbered by the protesters over there from both the sides. And it took them a good few minutes to ensure that things don't go out of control. They had to resort to a mild lathi charge, even threatened to fire tear gas shells. But why did the police let it till that level? Should they have ensured that there's no congregation? Should they have stopped people from congregating in big numbers, or tell both the organizers that you cannot put up photos of freedom fighters or figures who are now become some sort of a questionable figures for some of these groups in the society. That perhaps definitely is a failure on part of the police. And we are seeing some steps today. For example, in Tumakuru, as soon as the local municipality realized that one of Veer Savarkar's posters or flex was in a way defaced or torn, they ensured that all those flexes were removed, and there's absolutely no scope for anyone to come there and protest. Why didn't that happen on Independence Day is the question.
Right.